you all for joining us. It is 4 o'clock and we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us today. We are sure that you had a fun-filled day of impacting and positively influencing children's lives, and we are glad to have you with us today to talk about our revised accountability formula. For many years, the Department of Education has been engaged in conversations about the need to reform our school accountability system, to really optimize it to ensure that it meets the needs of Louisiana and highlights areas where Louisiana is improving, still needs to improve, so that we can benefit our students. Today's call is going to have a variety of information for you, really tailored to, can I get confirmation that y'all can hear me? I'm getting a message that says we don't have sound.
I can hear you.
Thanks, Dr.
I can hear.
Perfect, thank you.
I can hear you.
Great, thank you. You see this QR code here? The QR code will take you to a website where you can view lots of resources about the revised accountability formula. We hope that you'll take advantage of those, as well as sign up to receive email updates about the revised accountability system. Career and technical education will undergo a transformation in the new accountability system. Rather than being dismantled, it will experience a revitalization. This shift will move us away from prioritizing the easiest to earn credentials, or IBCs, and toward fostering programs that add meaningful value to students beyond graduation. CTE leaders have long advocated for school systems to prioritize programs that align to economic demand and will provide long-term success for their young people. This is the time for CTE to move forward with intention and focus on developing talent that drives economic prosperity for our parishes and for our students. We're going to provide a brief overview of the accountability system, and then we'll transition to providing some specific tactical tools that your schools and districts may be using and that you might use in your classrooms as teachers. There were 3 fundamental drivers that emerged throughout the 3 years of conversation. 1, rigorous and high expectations for what our students can achieve. 2, simplicity and transparency in what the accountability system measures. And 3, signaling the importance of college and career readiness in alignment with high expectations to make sure that what we designed raised the bar around what it means to be college or career ready in the state of Louisiana. Our goals are pretty clear. The system asks that all students grow and that we need to be transparent about what % of our students are mastering grade level content. Lastly, when students arrive in high school, we need to help them identify the right pathway for them. The revised accountability system recognizes schools when they help students reach college, workplace, or military service readiness. Creating a simple and transparent system was important to most of our stakeholders. Our current accountability system requires tables and charts that show you what you get 25 points for, 80 points for, 100 or 150 points within each indicator. This is challenging. It creates several different goals and makes it hard to explain what the indicator is measuring. For example, our current assessment index tells you the number of students earning advanced times 150, plus the number of students earning mastery times 100, plus the number of students earning basic times 80, divided by the total number of tests in the school. But before you do that, you have to weight ELA and math twice. The new system asks a simple question and gives a straightforward answer. What percent of the school students met the expectation for each indicator? In the case of the assessment index, it answers the question, what percent of students reach mastery? College and career readiness was recently defined by Bessie in the Board of Regents. We kept that definition close at hand as we planned, engaged, and designed this revised formula to make sure that true readiness for life after high school, which was previously neglected in our accountability formula, takes front and center and really focuses on getting kids to college and career readiness. The first indicator that we'll talk about is grow. Growth in our current accountability system is significantly underweighted. In the revised accountability formula, you will see that it takes a much greater percentage of the formula, and it also has a new way of being measured that we feel will help more students arrive at proficiency. Louisiana has long been challenged with educational outcomes that fall far below those of the nation. In our current accountability system, the growth measure compares each student's prior and current year achievement and awards points based off how well the student did compared to other students in Louisiana. Our revised growth measure stops comparing our students to one another and instead says that every student who isn't proficient can grow from one lower half of an achievement level to the next half of an achievement level. We're going to do this by dividing each non-proficient achievement level in half. Every year, the student must grow from a lower level to a higher level. In the example on the screen, you see a third grade student excited to go to school, but at the end of her third grade year, she takes her LEAP test in ELA and earns the lowest score possible, a 650. She's starting out in the low unsatisfactory category. The following year, we hope that she will get at least to a score of 675 and now be inside of the high unsatisfactory category. In each of these years on this chart, she has made meaningful progress toward being proficient. In each of those years, the school will also count her in the percent of students that grew. If she grows at the pace that you see on this chart, every single year, the school will get credit for growing her, and by the end of ninth grade, she will be college and career ready or choice ready to choose the path that's best for her. Continued growth is expected for students who reach mastery. Once she reaches mastery, we're going to expect in 10th grade that she goes up by 1 scale score point. Students who've already scored advanced are expected to remain advanced to earn credit for growing in the formula. Additionally, because we know how far behind this young lady is, we really think that it's important to catch her up. We know that you do too. Because she's in the lowest 25% of students in her school, she's going to be in 2 different growth measures. She's going to be in the growth measure for all students, and she's going to be in the growth measure for the lowest 25% of students. You're going to start to see on the next slide the scorecard starting to fill in. You see the actual percentage of students improving year over year in math, and then you will also see additional focus on students in the lowest 25% who are the farthest behind. Thank you so much. Now you're seeing that slide. So you see that that in math, you see that 41.5% of students are growing. You see that 46.5% of students are growing in English. You also see that we have 2 categories, one for the lowest 25% of students in math and one for the lowest 25% of students in English. Essentially, we are going to look at the students that you have in your school in this year, and we're going to look at their scores from the prior year. The students with the lowest 25% of scores in English will be your lowest 25% group for the English measure, and then the same thing for your math measure. Lastly, English learners take an additional assessment that measures English language acquisition. This is included as an indicator because the assessment's not included other places. You'll see that in Louisiana, 31.1% of our English language learners are making progress along their growth trajectory to reach English language proficiency. The next set of indicators are related to achievement. Proficiency matters. Just like making real progress every year in the growth measure is our goal for every student, mastery is our minimum goal for every student as well. We've been able to simplify our achieve measure to a single question. What percent of students reach proficiency or above? We continue to recognize helping students reach advanced through the growth indicator that I explained earlier, expecting that students that are proficient grow 1 scale score point, or students who have already scored advanced to remain advanced. With that, you're going to see the completed scorecard for an elementary school and the 9/12 of the scorecard for a high school. On the left, you see what percent of students are growing. On the right, you see what percent of students are proficient. For a K-8 school, you will see that 5 out of the 9 indicators are student growth and 4 out of the 9 are overall academic proficiency. This is going to create a strong foundation for preparing students to be literate, numerate, civic-minded, and critical thinkers. This is going to help them when they get to high school to be prepared to choose their post-secondary pathway, college, or career. No matter which pathway they choose, these foundational skills are critical for success in life. We're going to transition now to the part of our presentation where leadership from our teaching and learning team, Dr. Mia Mathern, who is with us today, to share more about the initiatives and the work that's happening in teaching and learning and things that you can bring back to your school.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lambert. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day today. My name is Mia Mathern, and I serve as Deputy Advisor for the Office of Teaching and Learning. As an agency, the concept of achievement must be embodied by the support provided to school leaders, teachers, and students. Today, during the Grow and Achieve portion of our presentation, I will discuss strengthening instructional coherence through teacher and leader growth and development and expanded academic support for students. Schools and systems promote coherence and strengthen learning through the high-quality professional learning structures of ILT and teacher collaboration. These structures leverage information and resources to build the professional capacity of educators so they are prepared to meet the needs of all students. Therefore, these elements should be intentionally integrated into learning throughout the year. HQIM includes instructional materials that are the most important tools educators use in the classroom to enhance student learning. It is critical that they fully align to state standards, what the students are expected to learn and be able to do at the end of each grade level, of course, and are high quality if they are to provide meaningful instructional support. In thinking about our Louisiana Leader and Louisiana Educator rubrics, these rubrics are clearly defined, they clearly define excellence in school leadership and classroom instruction. These tools help educators build essential mindsets and skills that elevate their practice, advance instruction, and improve outcomes for all students. Current classroom observations and student work and assessment data is critical for HQPL decision-making, goal setting, and progress monitoring. Over the past decade, the Louisiana Department of Education has implemented initiatives designed to support continuous improvement of teaching and learning across the entire state. Louisiana has prioritized the adoption and implementation of HQIM across the state. And the LDOE has also supported districts and schools with implementing 3 proven strategies that enable sustained, high-quality teaching and learning across the state. These include instructional leadership teams, teacher collaboration support, and career pipeline support. Louisiana's improved educator evaluation system will build upon and support education initiatives. The process and instructional practices of evaluation and support will be implemented through the structures of instructional leadership teams and teacher collaboration, and will support the implementation of high-quality instructional materials that have been adopted across the state. The Louisiana Educator Advancement and Development System, which you will know as LEADS, provides teachers and leaders with a research-based vision for instructional excellence, promotes student outcomes, focused assessments of instruction, including heightened understanding of the teaching and learning relationship, which is very important, and provides a structure of professional learning opportunities connected to evaluation. The essence of the Louisiana Educator rubric is highly effective instruction that results in deep student learning. The highly effective instruction moves beyond foundational student engagement. The rubric was developed to support a shift from student engagement to student ownership of learning. The progression of student learning from engagement to ownership is described across the performance levels of the rubric. While student engagement is often cited as a goal of instruction, it's just one step on the way towards student learning and ownership. In classrooms, we want to first ensure that student engagement, the students are doing the work, but also that students move toward understanding their learning and engaging in the cognitive work of learning where student engagement goes beyond. We don't want students to necessarily just say, I'm doing this because my teacher said I have to do this. And ultimately, we want students to take true ownership of their learning, where they have an intrinsic motivation to learn and make their own real world and real life connections, and they can articulate what they are learning, why they are learning it, and how they will know that they are successful. This slide shows a model of the learning progression. When students are engaged in work, the doing part of learning, the instruction is at the proficient level. The educator is directing the learning for the majority of the lesson. This is a rock solid and is considered effective. Then you'll notice as we move forward in the progression of learning that students move to the next level, understanding, where the educator shifts to a more facilitation approach, and the students begin to shift from just procedurally engaging in the learning to a level of ownership in their learning. Then, at level 5 on the rubric, the teacher and students co-facilitate their learning, and students are truly owning their learning and are able to share what they have learned, apply and extend their learning, and take responsibility for their own learning. A very important component of LEADS is continuous support through the observation process. Educators receive both announced and unannounced observations, and observations follow the POP cycle, which you see here. Prior to announced observations, the observer conducts a pre-conference with the teacher to ask pertinent background questions and begin the coaching process. With announced observations, the evaluator will not have an opportunity to hold a pre-conference with the teacher, but the evaluator will analyze the lesson plan to understand the lesson objectives, activities and materials, and assessments, and to collect evidence. This is done prior to the observation if possible. After each classroom observation, the teacher will begin observing. After each classroom observation, the teacher being observed has the opportunity to reflect on the lesson and receives written feedback from the individual evaluator in a post-conference. In the post-conference, the evaluator shares a reinforcement and refinement area. All observations, both announced and unannounced, must include a post-conference. The area of refinement will then be reflected in the professional growth and/or coaching plan. The follow-up coaching and support cycle component of the LEADS incorporates 6 steps. The coaching model is considered a cycle of learning and growth. The PGP, or coaching plan, is reviewed after each teacher observation, formal and informal. Important to note here, the coaching cycle begins by identifying a student need. This student need should connect to the teacher's refinement goal and/or objective. There is always a relationship between teacher actions and student behaviors. For this purpose, we have to think about how improvement in that refinement area will positively impact students in the classroom. On this slide, you will see some resources that we have put together for you guys. And on the LEADS landing page, we have a plethora of LEADS resources that can be found. And one resource that we thought would be super helpful for you teachers is the 90-minute LER teacher induction training. So please take some time to go through that 90-minute training if you want just a little bit more information about the LEADS process and how it will affect you. LEADS focuses on the support around instruction that teachers and leaders will receive via our new teacher leader advancement system. But we also have to be very intentional about the materials delivered during all learning time as well. LEADS is all about growing our educators to in turn grow our students. We know that students learn best when offered instruction that is coherent from core grade level instruction to extra time to learn. We also know that the access of all students to core grade level instruction, including our students with disabilities, is of the utmost importance. High quality core instruction is so important, and we should never waver from keeping the time, space, and quality of core instruction sacred. Now that we have discussed the importance of instructional leadership teams and teacher collaboration, as well as the support provided via LEADS, we will shift to a focus on targeted students being provided with extra time to learn. No matter what that extra time is referred to, whether it be intervention, when or what I need time, tutoring, it is essential that students are provided with impactful instruction that aligns to the learning currently taking place during core, or is previewing core grade level work. Act 771 of the 2024 legislative session requires all students in grades kindergarten through 5 who fail to achieve mastery on any statewide assessment in reading or math to be eligible for expanded academic support. It is important to note that these identified students must be provided with one of the following: prioritized placement in a class taught by a teacher on campus labeled as highly effective, or high dosage tutoring from a qualified tutor, which we'll discuss what constitutes a qualified tutor later. Now that we've covered what students are eligible for high dosage tutoring, let's discuss how we will meet the needs of these identified students. The Accelerate High Dosage Tutoring Program has specific program requirements for implementation. These requirements include tutoring beginning no later than 30 days after the student is identified as eligible, direct instruction utilizing formative assessment throughout the year and should align with Tier 1 instruction and grade level content. The tutoring should persist over a period of at least 10 weeks. It should take place at least 3 times per week, and it should last for approximately 30 minutes per session or less if developmentally appropriate. In continuing with expanded support for students, the release template for the IASP, also known as the Individual Academic Support Plan, covers the expectations of the legislatively mandated IRIP, Individual Reading Improvement Plan, and the NIP, which is the Numeracy Improvement Plan, while also adding sections for interventions necessary within the Literacy Plan. This revised IASP is considered the umbrella student support plan and should be created by the teacher, principal, other pertinent school personnel, and the parent or legal guardian. A link to the IASP template can be found on the next slide, which includes important resources for teachers. Finally, on this page, on this slide, you will find information and resources related to high dosage tutoring and expanded academic support for students. And at this time, I would like to kick it back over to Mr. Thomas Lambert.
Thanks, Dr. Mathern, for all that information. No matter where students start, growth is critical. By having a strong focus on student proficiency and student growth, we know that more students will reach 10th grade ready to have choices about their post-secondary plans. Graduation rate continues to be a really important indicator within our accountability formula for schools and districts that serve high school students. This indicator is simplified. In our current system, you had to use a table to multiply your cohort graduation rate depending on what your rate was by different numbers. So for example, if your graduation rate was 75 or below, you multiplied it by 0.9. If your graduation rate was between 76 and 90, you multiply your graduation rate by 1.11112. And if it was between 91 and 100, you would add 5 points to 100 for every point you were above a 90. The new formula is simply what percent of your cohort earned a diploma on time. The nationally recognized assessment index shows the percentage of students reaching the equivalent of a 20 on the ACT or on another nationally recognized assessment such as gold on the work keys or a 59th percentile on the ASVAB, or a certain score on the SAT or a certain score on the classic learning test. University diploma students must still take one of those nationally recognized assessments that aligns to college and college readiness in order to substitute one of these other scores. Louisiana's current accountability formula has an indicator that is purported to recognize credential attainment. In reality, a school would earn 100 points for graduating all of its students on time. Low-level and high-quality industry-recognized credentials represented bonus points essentially with that indicator. A third of the points within the strength of diploma indicator were actually related to credentials, and 2/3 were related to graduating on time. In this new index, we ask the question, what percent of students are really ready for life after high school? College grads who are ready for college by earning an ACT score of 20 or an equivalent on a nationally recognized college readiness exam can demonstrate their readiness and acceleration through a variety of means that show that they've earned college credit. You see those listed on the left-hand side of the chart. Graduates can also demonstrate their readiness for a career and their acceleration into career by earning a set of high-value industry-based credentials and having valuable work-based learning experiences. Lastly, and certainly not least, we, for the first time, included in our accountability system recognition for students who choose to serve our nation in the United States military. We will phase in the work-based learning requirements, and more information on that's on the next slide. Work-based learning will be phased in over a period of years. We will initially set a target of 25% of our career accelerating students earning work-based learning experience. Any school in the first year of implementation that has 25% or more of their career accelerating students complete a work-based learning experience will earn 5 bonus points within that indicator for doing that. Every year after 2026, we will increase the percentage required by 5 from 25 to 30 and so on until it reaches 65. And at that point, it will become a requirement in order to earn credit in that index. Here's the completed scorecard. This is what a K-12 school would have, a school that serves high school grades and school districts. You see it completed on the left side, looks just like the elementary school scorecard. And on the right-hand side, you see those 3 indicators added for high school related indicators, or those Thrive indicators. The way that you calculate the overall school performance score or district performance score is a straight average of those numbers. You don't have to weight it. You don't have to multiply by certain factors in order to make it worth 25% or 30%. It's just a straight average. Up next, Dr. Ernice Singleton, our Assistant Superintendent for College and Career Readiness, is going to share information about important initiatives related to the Thrive indicator.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm in the Office of Career and College Readiness, and we stand ready to assist schools and school systems this academic year as you prepare for the launch of Grow, Achieve, Thrive. At this time, I want to delve further into the Thrive portion of the revised accountability system and how it impacts your efforts at your school. So on the next slide, you'll see one point that I really want everyone to hear and understand and become ingrained as Thrive is presented. The revised accountability system is a fundamental shift in our way of thinking. As you listen to how to implement the Thrive portion of this system, don't think of graduation requirements. Think of opportunities for your students to accelerate and increase their learning. Now let's take a look at the University Accelerator. As Mr. Lambert presented, I'm not going to go over the elements or the components of the accelerator, but talk about how does this look at your school. So in order to support students aiming to earn the University Accelerator, teachers that are interested in teaching dual enrollment, advanced placement, international baccalaureate, or CLEP content should engage with their leadership on opportunities for available professional development. Meet with the College Board representatives, or check out the College Board. The practical implications for elementary and middle school teachers include providing a strong foundation in literacy and numeracy for success in technical coursework at the high school level. Additionally, building strong skills in problem solving and teamwork in the early years allows for acceleration in technical programs. Teachers in the early grades can also ensure that their students are getting early exposure to opportunities available in the world of work. For elementary and middle school teachers, what career explorations can be embedded in your classes to ensure that students begin to understand the job opportunities in their communities? Also, elementary and middle school teachers, are you aware of the CTE or career and technical education opportunities available at the high school? Knowing these opportunities, you should be able to enhance your instruction in your classroom. So engage your career and technical education supervisor or meet with teachers on the high school level to determine what is occurring at those building campuses. The practical implication for high school students, for high school teachers. For teachers who have transitioned from other industries, work with your school leadership to become certified to teach technical dual enrollment coursework. For example, if you have worked as a computer programmer for 5 or 10 years before transitioning into education, you're likely qualified to teach content at the 2-year college level. Ensure that parents and students understand how technical skills developed in your classroom translate into in-demand skills in the workforce. Work with your school leadership to take advantage of opportunities to not only maintain technical skills, but also learn new technical skills. We know that world is ever changing. CTE programs often require literacy and numeracy skills taught in core academic coursework. What opportunities are available to partner between CTE educators and academic teachers to show practical applications of those skills? Think about geometry and carpentry, or trigonometry and electrical, algebra 1 and 2, and intro to computer programming. There are numerous ways where educators can work together to make sure that students who are pursuing the Career Accelerator are successful. The final accelerator is the Service Accelerator, and this is earned through the presence of assigned military acceptance letter or acceptance into one of the service academies: West Point, Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy, Coast Guard Academy, and the Merchant Marine Academy. For students who are expressing an interest in joining a military branch or entering the service academy, help guide the students to either a counselor or an on-campus recruiting team to learn more about those opportunities that are available in the military, including the various careers. We've also developed guidance to help related to work-based learning and are currently working on additional guidance. Access to these guidance documents should not only help, but expand access to work-based learning and better align programs to economic demand. For high school instructors, if you are interested in being a work-based learning instructor, reach out to your leadership to inquire about how to do so. But elementary and middle school teachers, if you see a space on your campus where you could host a high school intern, reach out to your site level leadership to discuss. On the high school campus, you are often the best person, our teachers, positioned to ensure that our professional school counselors understand your career and technical education programs and the progression. They have multiple entry and exit points throughout, so make sure that you're speaking with your counselor about it. Make sure that your programs have academic coursework as well as dual enrollment and registered apprenticeships. Make sure that your counselors and your community understand the established course progressions and flexibilities to move across the various course pathways. So what are those opportunities available to provide counselors professional development to understand your programs? Teachers on the high school level, you are also the best person positioned to understand the general language proficiency and the industry-specific language required in career and technical education programs. Support should be provided to those students who are enrolled in CTE so that they are garnering the language acquisition needed to be successful. Also, students know their own language needs. Also, you should share with your leadership team if you think the content or the industry-based certification exams are available in other languages other than English. Again, high school teachers, you are often the best person positioned to understand the accommodations that are available for your specific content. During the IEP team meetings, share the accommodations available by the certifying agency of the content you instruct. Since most CTE programs are project-based, how can you provide support beyond and expand the academic work into the project-based support? At this time, I'll pass it back to Mr. Lambert, and thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Dr. Singleton. Want to provide a quick overview of how the scales will be set for this revised formula, since we're going from a 150-point scale to a 100-point scale. In the fall of 2024, the department will set cut scores for 3 scales. We'll have a scale for elementary or middle school, a scale for high schools, and a scale for districts. The simulated data will be used to set minimum and maximum scores for A through F to be used in the first year these scores count, which will be 2026. Schools across the state will know this fall their score under the simulation and what it would mean if they made no progress, what it would mean in terms of what letter grade they should expect. Schools and districts will be able to set goals, and we hope schools will target growing a letter grade or some reasonable number of points based off of the initiatives that they are putting in place to drive student achievement. In any year after 2026, when over 50% of sites on a scale earn an A or a B, the scale will go up by 5 points until we reach a standard 10-point grading scale. This will mean a clear goal annually and gradual increase of expectations, while also being transparent about what percent of students are meeting the state's expectations. We've included here a timeline that shows you SPS changes by year. Fall of 2024, there will be no changes. The SPS formula is unchanged from 2023. LDOE will issue cut scores for the revised system using data from the 2024 SPS in the revised formula. We will share that simulated data with districts and share what the cut scores are for A through F according to the 3 scales. Fall of 2025 will be the final year of the current SPS system. Fall of 2025, the SPS will be unchanged from 2023. LDOE will issue simulated scores, assigning simulated grades based off of those cut scores that we set in the fall of 2024. Fall of 2026 will be the first year of the revised formula. Cut scores will be the same that were used in 2024 and 2025, and the simulation will be provided based off of the old formula, because the new formula will be the one that is being used for public reporting purposes. Fall of 2027, we will be under the revised formula again, and we won't be simulating the prior scores any longer. The cut scores at that point could have changed if in 2026, 50% of schools on a scale were an A or a B, signaling that the state has met the expectation around what the goals are in this initial formula and continue to drive student achievement. Thank you so much for joining us for this Grow, Achieve, Thrive accountability webinar. This slide is the same one that we saw at the beginning. It will take you straight to a set of resources, videos, a place to subscribe to email updates, frequently asked questions. We hope that you leave with a stronger understanding of the accountability formula and can see that it's more simple and transparent. It has high student expectations, and it's really focused on college and career readiness. It'll go into effect for the 2025-2026 school year, where in the fall of 2026, we will release scores based off of this new formula. Please contact assessment@la.gov with any questions, or go ahead and drop them in the chat and we'll answer them through the frequently asked questions document. Thanks for spending time with us on this Thursday afternoon, and we look forward to hearing questions from you in the future. Take care.